So Patrick, I have a procedural question for you.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Going back to when the fact that all of the officers are going to roll off starting in June, you'll have a new president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, because you can only do that 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah, I know that's let me check that bylaws.
I think that's why we're doing it, but my question is, within your, if you serve for 9 full years on the board, you can hold those positions multiple times,
yes,
but for only 2 years in a row, and then there has to be a break.
Yes.
In between. Okay.
Yeah, the 2-year limit, continuous limit is the only thing in the bylaws. I'm not 100% sure it applies to all the offices. I know we made a change several years back, so it either did or didn't. I can't remember which way we went.
If I remember correctly, when I took over as president, Dorothy had been president already for 2 years, and I had been vice president, so we just swapped. So I think, I might be wrong.
And we are live streaming now.
I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
Yeah, no, I think there was a prohibition on the, there's always been a 2-year limit on the president's position. I can't remember if it applies to all other offices.
I think that's the way we've been doing it, though.
Sure. Yeah, that seems eminently fair. It gives everyone a chance.
Yeah, right. Hi, Edmund. Hi, Dorothy. You guys are muted.
Yeah, I muted all the.
All right.
Are you muted, everybody?
There you go.
I would like to show you the thin book that we're reading in Kathleen's book discussion group, and it's called "The Death of Ivan Ilyich." Here's another book that she assigned us. That's 1,000 pages.
Yeah, well, the big one was over 3 months, so.
That's pretty good.
Challenges everywhere.
Yeah.
Just keeping you on your toes, Edmund.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the Wednesday night book group, which becomes the summer reading group, they talk about Infinite Jest just about every month. They compare everything.
Really? Oh boy.
I have never read that book.
I think a lot of people can say that.
Yeah, you have a lot of company. Yeah.
I've been carrying it around. So I got a signed copy from the author. I was working in a bookstore in the town he was teaching in when the book came out. And I've been carrying around that copy. I read the first 300 pages and then didn't finish it till this time, since whenever that was, 1995, 1996 or something.
Yeah. Kathleen, do you choose the books, or do you choose them from a list?
The summer books, do you mean, or?
Yeah, well, summer books and the monthly.
The classics books, yeah, I do choose them based on who knows what bizarre personal, I try to have some balance of women and men, authors of color, etc. I mean, there are some considerations, but yeah.
We try to do every 6th year Tolstoy.
Hey, he keeps coming up, strangely. Yeah.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
So we are live streaming on YouTube.
And Facebook as well.
On Facebook, great.
Yay.
Okay.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Edmund. Are you kidding me?
I think that probably everybody's waiting till closer to 5:15.
Yeah, you're of course right. We didn't all need to be here at 5. It was just the starting the streaming thing. I think because why? It says somewhere 5 o'clock because that's when the
Zoom reservation is?
the Zoom meeting. I think it says on the
You
Zoom.
can't do quarter hours.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Edmund, I can tell you that your Dove chocolates have definitely been experienced by lots of staff members already.
Well, great. Just an appreciation, just a tad of appreciation.
Well, then, yeah, you can't really beat those. So.
Oh gosh.
Did you drop off Valentine's candy?
March candy, yeah.
March candy? That's nice.
This is good time for a mini meditation.
I'm going to
Listening
use
to
this
the
opportunity
sounds.
to clean my desk off from work, which is a disaster.
Join the club.
Joel, just confirming tomorrow night still works for everybody. Time, choice on what to, for the birthday people.
What's the one?
Cindy, did you watch the hockey game last night?
Monday.
Monday. What's today?
Today's Wednesday.
Thank you.
I don't
So
know.
who won?
Two things. One, I'm having terrible memory issues because I'm stuck in my home office with very little interaction with other people. And two, there is a sameness to my days, right? Because I never leave the house. So
Wow.
I totally lose track of what day of the week it is. That's my excuse.
I have very varied days, and I go out of the house, and I have memory issues. So I'm ahead of you.
I never did finish Sanjay Gupta's book. I was listening to Sanjay Gupta's book as an audiobook, and I didn't make it past the science for the little exercises that you can do to help with your memory to create those new pathways and stuff. The one thing I learned was he said you should stop multitasking. So I've at least adopted that. I no longer multitask.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
So we have a quorum, but we're still 6 minutes out.
Okay, we should probably wait a bit. Aaron's coming in I guess we should really wait till the 5:15, don't you?
I agree.
Okay.
Hi, Erin.
Hi, Erin.
Good to see everybody, even
Good to see
How
you.
goes it?
Cindy, what's your kitty's name?
Name's Owen.
Owen. He
He
looks like
came, he came with that name. I didn't name him, but so he is trying to sit on my note-taking hand. So I'm not sure how we're going to do this.
sounds like a good kitty. Edwin, any news on your grandbaby?
Well, yep. My daughter is still enjoying her pregnancy. This is in her, well, there are 5 weeks left, 5+ weeks left, April the 21st. So 5 to 6 weeks. And she's enjoying her pregnancy, even though she gets kicked in the ribs a lot. She says she'll get even later on. Huh? What?
Oops. Excuse me just a sec. I will be right back.
And Emily got the last one of our pod of about 8 people who is fully vaccinated now as of yesterday. So all that good, that's very, very good.
That's very good.
It turns out that we built up a lot of stress, sometimes not even recognizing that we've built up that stress, and somehow relief comes from having vaccines.
I'm so happy.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, my pod is all vaccinated.
Super.
That's great, Joan. Congratulations.
Super.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
Another
My sister is having some adverse reactions to her second dose, but we're all vaccinated. So. Yeah.
And anybody else been able to get the vaccine?
Oh, come on now.
I got my first one Monday.
I'm not eligible.
Yeah.
I'm happy to wait to let teachers and grocery store workers and people who've had cancer and all those people. I'm down the list.
We've been told. We've been told sort of unofficially that we'll be librarians will be moving into the tier with educators as of the 15th.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's great.
I've seen it officially for St. Joseph, Missouri, but and it was from the state, so I don't really know, but we're hopeful.
Got my fingers and my toes crossed.
I think we've had staff go to Columbia. Someone's heading to Southwest Missouri.
Trying to
Couple
think.
One way to learn your geography.
People.
Yeah.
What do you mean somebody's going to South Missouri?
Southwest Missouri,
Southwest.
somewhere
Joplin?
around Joplin, there is an event and they were able to get an appointment there.
Oh, yeah, out of towners. Mhm.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, just, and then a couple staff were able to get one in Columbia when that went in the paper the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
where it was really well organized.
Super.
Good.
Richmond Heights has extended us an invitation to, they're helping us get in under Richmond Heights event as, to volunteer there. And then if you volunteer, you can sometimes get, at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are helping a lot of people. I was talking to my brother-in-law, and we're almost ready to start here. You know, St. Charles sent a notice out for people, but you had to be prepared to show up the very next day. You had to get online and you had to register and you had to do it right now. So I think there's a lot of people helping people get in line or get set up and ready to go. So
There's a site, a
Helen?
website from New York that
Hello.
has
Hi, Helen.
people helping that. Hi, Helen.
Hello.
So it is 5:15. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order so that we can get going on this. We are streaming live. So if everybody is aware of that, I think we're on both Facebook and
On YouTube, yeah.
YouTube.
Stacy.
Hello, Mr. Clay.
Hi, how are you? Okay. So we're good to go. Latrice will not be joining us. She is at work and is unable to, given what her role is tonight, unable to join the meeting. So Erin, if you could do a roll call, that would be great.
I would be happy to. Joan Greco-Cohen,
I'm here.
Dorothy Davis,
Here.
Gerald Lander,
Present.
Edmund Acosta,
Here.
Helen Nelling.
Here.
I don't see Michael Hart.
Not yet.
Not yet.
And Cindy Zerwis.
Present.
Okay, and Erin Ginsberg, I'm here. We also have Patrick, and I see Cindy, and was
Yeah, Kathleen is here.
Kathleen? Okay,
Kathleen.
okay. So, yay, we're
Okay.
here.
Excellent. And we have a quorum, so we can go ahead. Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes in your packet?
Pages 7 and 8, if anyone needs those.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay.
So,
Cindy at the library, can you hear everybody? Okay, thank you. I don't want to turn my volume up too much. If I have it too loud, I get feedback, and then everybody else is subject to the same feedback. So I don't want to turn my speakers up too loud. Is there any correspondence?
We had a nice note from Helen and her family. We had a note of thanks from the U City School District thanking Stephanie Jenkins, Larita Wright, and Sue Ann Whitner for doing the African American read-in a week or two ago. They did it to two different schools in the school district, and it was very well attended and very well appreciated. And then I got a letter from the Secretary of State for my appointment to the Secretary's Council on Library Development. I think that's about it. Kathleen, any
I
other?
saw that appointment. How does that appointment come into being? How do you get appointed to that?
The state librarian nominates two public librarians as a public librarian as a seat opens up, and two of the seats just opened up. So myself and Rachel Grimm,
No
and I forgot
kidding.
Rachel's. Yeah. So
That's great.
yeah, I was really honored to do
Congrats.
that. Thank you.
Our library, that's wonderful. Our library director, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
We're
Thanks.
very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Job well done.
Yeah, so we've got and Kathleen's on the board for Wolfner, and I'm on this one. So and Kara's once again doing the reading list for the American Library Association. So everyone's keeping pretty active.
Look at us. Look at our little library. That's great. Patrick, that is great. Stacy, do you have a report for us for the council liaison?
I do, and good evening, everyone.
Hi.
a few items of interest. We did receive our second quarter financial report. Should be noted that the city runs on a June to July fiscal year, so it's not the second quarter that you would think in a calendar year. Long and the short of it is, because we received the first part of our CARES allocation, about 1.2 million, the city's doing okay. We're okay. The revenue is roughly where it was. I think it's actually maybe up slightly, mainly because of the CARES Act dollars. But we're running about the same as we had. We cut cost rather significantly early on. That cost cutting most dramatically impacted our Parks and Recreations department. So Centennial Commons staff was let go in our recreation facilities. Staff was let go. So we did realize some savings along with some other furloughs and cuts that we made. So we cut expenses very early and candidly rather significantly. So that we were running really low on the expense side, and then we got the CARES money. So we're okay. We are, as it relates to Centennial Commons, and I'll just mention that, looking to open in May, the latter part of May, likely, because we are having to kind of staff up from zero effectively. Centennial Commons is staffed by primarily part-time folks, a couple of full-time folks, but they were all, our part-time people were among the first to be let go. And certainly they have, most of them, all of them have found other opportunities because they had to. So we're starting from zero, but hope to be up and running by May. Still probably likely in a limited hour context. So won't be go open till 10 o'clock on weeknights. That likely won't be happening. There'll be more information about what opening looks like in terms of reservations and capacity and all those things, because some of that's governed by St. Louis County guidelines as they are at the time. And as we know, they are constantly evolving. So it might be 50% today, it could go up to 60% depending on the vaccine rollout and a variety of other factors. So two things of significance there. I'll say the other, probably most significant thing of general interest is there's movement with Olive and 170. The developer Novus has demonstrated the financial backing and has secured a partner to be able to move forward, and we've verified the banking relationship that the developer has. So the large parcels of land, the public storage, the shopping center across the street on the south side of Olive, in that Olive 170 footprint, and Jeffrey Plaza, some of the other parcels in the back, have all been secured, and so we are ready to move forward. So the city council is going through its rezoning processes. I will say that within this, we are still mindful of the fact that there's still buyouts taking place with some of those homeowners. So we are keeping our eye on that as well. The city's not involved in that process, but we are keeping our eye on it. That's what I have, and I'll open any questions at this time.
Thank you.
So at this point, there's no idea when the actual construction will start.
Assuming everything goes to plan, I would say we would see movement this year, certainly. I mean,
Great.
And then I'd heard that Delmar Harvard, they received the demolition permits. Do you know when that might be?
I don't, and I can do as we did before, Director Wall, and email the city manager on the specifics. I don't don't have that one. That one's not quite as top of mind as Olive 170 is. But
we'll notice when they start. So
yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. But I can send a quick email while we're on the call just to get some more specific information.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Let's hope that
Anybody
they
else
do
have
the demo
questions?
before we, I was going to say, let's
Sorry,
hope
Helen.
that they
Sorry.
do the demo before we open the library.
Oh, can you repeat that, Helen?
I just said that I hope that the demo happens before we reopen the library because of the noise.
Oh.
And I assume the dust.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate that. Patrick, do you have a librarian's report?
I do. Can I touch briefly on the first three items before doing the consent agenda?
You can, absolutely.
I think, so we've got the large crack in the second floor window. It's going to be about $5,000 from the one bid we received. I wasn't in the library today because I'm home with a sick child, but I hadn't heard back yet from another board up company that we had contacted to see, Missouri Valley Glass is the one that the city's maintenance crew had recommended for, a really large piece of glass on the second floor. So I imagine it's going to be, that much elsewhere. We were really happy to receive the 25 study carrels yesterday from Washington University. They donated those to us, brought them in and, put them in a good place for us to start working with them or putting them in storage. We think that we'll be able to use them in the library now when we're in a storefront location, and then, bringing them back into the library when we're done. They look like they're in really good shape. And then I just wanted to touch on the murals, which on the Delmar Harvard building, which I was completely unaware of them until this came up last week, and I got a call from a former board member who was suggesting that we put them on the easternmost exterior wall of the building. Having looked at the murals, and there's pictures in the or mosaics rather, I've got them on page 19 of the packet. It doesn't look to me like they would really go with our building at all. I know the Historical Society had a couple other ideas of where they could go. They definitely seem school related, so I would hope that a school or a park might be the place for them. Though, if the board has a strong feeling about that, are you all familiar with this? Does everybody in U City know about these murals?
I didn't until the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was unaware until you sent the packet out.
And if the Historical Society is quibbling with the color of our glass replacement and our mullions,
yeah.
imagine that they would be okay with just slapping the murals on the mid-century modern building that we have.
Yeah, we did think that too. HPC, I don't think that they would be in favor of that, but one never knows. If I had emailed Mr. Rose to say that this had been brought up, and I'd been asked to bring this to the board. So I'm going to report back to Mr. Rose that there wasn't a strong feeling that this was something we wanted, that it wouldn't be something I would recommend. But please let me know if you get a chance to see the murals and feel differently about it.
Graciously declining is the way to go, I think. Okay. But
Yeah, I mean, I think an important part of U City history, but you know, I would think there are a couple of other better venues for it in the city. Should
I
they survive
agree.
the demolition?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if we decline it, can we say it the way you just said it, Patrick, to say we want to see them preserved as part of the University City history, but we don't think it's a good fit for the style of our building.
Mhm.
I'd hate to see them get destroyed or thrown away just because we turn them down.
Oh, no, I don't think that's going to be at all. My understanding is they're going to be given to the city.
I see. Which the
Should they
city,
survive the demolition? They're, you know, going to try and remove it before they demolish the building, but it's, you know, it's set in brick, so.
and wouldn't the school board be the one to rule on where they go?
You know, the school board, my understanding would be that the school board has already sold that.
Oh, that's right. That's
as
right.
part of the building, so. Now they're being donated back from the current owner to the city.
That's nice.
Mhm.
Okay.
And those were, I think, the three things I wanted to pull out of the consent agenda. And if the board would want to proceed then with to the discussion items with a motion to accept
Does anybody have anything in the consent agenda outside of what Patrick has brought out that they want to discuss?
No.
No? Can somebody make a motion for the acceptance of the consent agenda, and we'll need a second as well?
I make a
So
motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to move on to the discussion items.
And yeah, I
And the
think
first
just
one- Oh, sorry.
the vote.
Patrick? Oh. You know, I checked the notes to see if we had to take a vote on that,
Oh,
and
so
I
you
didn't
just-
see that in
Okay.
the notes the last time, but we can do that if you think it's best.
No, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't, I mean, if you feel like we need to put that in, Aaron can take
No, I think a roll call vote might be a little, too much for just something like that. You're right.
I did go back and check to make sure that there wasn't a roll call vote the last time we did one. I have to carry these notes forward each meeting, so. So the first thing we have on the discussion items is the director evaluation. Helen, do you want to go over this? These were included in the packet that you received.
Sure. In the packet you received is the first, a separate attachment from the agenda. The first page is a review of the process, and we've added some dates. So while Joan will be working with Patrick on his self-evaluation, we're asking everyone to perform their own evaluations and get it back to Joan by April the 9th. And you can either scan it back to her if you have that ability, or if you want to put it in an envelope and mail it to her, that's okay too, just as long as she has it by April the 9th. Then we will discuss in an executive session at the May meeting. And then at the June meeting, we'll, if appropriate, we'll review that and talk about any compensation issues. If anyone has any questions about the form or the items that are on there, this is the second year you've seen this revised form. So I'm hoping that you remember it from last year, but if you don't, you have any questions, please call me and I'll be glad to walk you through it. Joan, do you have anything to add?
The only thing I was going to add is if you want to fill the packet out and you happen to be at the library and you want to drop it off there, I can certainly run by the library and pick it up. And I will compile the Excel spreadsheet for the evaluation and any notes that anybody makes. I'll compile all of that for this June meeting. That Helen was so gracious to put this all together for us again this year. So I told her I would compile everything because I think I have the template. So it's up to you guys. If you don't have my home address when we're not streaming online, email me and I will provide that to you, or you can drop it off at the library and I can pick it up from there. If you don't have the ability to scan and email it to me.
So it gets emailed to you.
Yeah.
Correct.
You can copy Helen on it as well. It's fine. I'm just going to compile the data.
Right. And you'll recall that per our protocols, Joan will be the person who will review that with Patrick after we discuss.
Yeah, after the May meeting. Yeah, we'll have a closed meeting with just the board, and then we'll discuss what was in the packet. So our April 9th date will allow me to get everything ready. And I guess, Helen, I guess what I'll do is put the compilation together and then email it out to the board prior to that May meeting.
That would be good. Then everyone can see that and see if, you know, you have a very different opinion on Patrick's glasses than, you know, everyone else loves his glasses and you really hate them and you want to bring that up and you know, have people rethink or whatever. We'll do that at the closed session in May.
Okay.
I think, or no glasses at all.
Okay.
And
So if
just
anybody has questions
procedurally,
about that, go ahead.
I sent it as both a Word document and as a PDF. So, you know, if you're able to, if you've got Adobe, you should be able to fill on the PDF, though I didn't test that. But you can certainly, well, I won't say certainly, maybe it won't work.
It's a bit quirky. I'm not a great form maker, and Helen and I sort of stumbled through this. So worst case scenario, you print it out and handwrite in the numbers and any other, you know, information you want us to have and you want to share. And then like I said, I have a little template that we created for the Excel count of the review. And then I manually just key into a Word document, anybody who wants to write information on any of the notes that are in there. And we do have some new board members, although Mike is not on here tonight. So let me make a note real quick to reach out to him so that
And to Latrice.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So
that they can
know,
complete the
handwritten is fine if that's what you need to do. And once again, if you have any questions, please call me. Okay.
That'd be great.
Your email address, addresses are linked to the library, or we're going to, should we scan it and send it to that email address, or are you going to, is that okay? Okay.
Yeah, that would be great, because the way my email is set up is that it forwards to my personal account.
Okay.
So I check that every day because I use that for work. So if you scan it to my library email, I will get it.
Okay, good to know.
And Helen, is yours the same? You'll get it as well if they send it to the library email?
I'm not sure that, Patrick, is mine set up to forward?
I believe it is.
Okay.
I believe it
Good.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
I will reach.
almost everyone's got their setup to do it that way.
Okay, and I'll reach out to Mike and Latrice so we can get their paperwork back before the 9th, and then we'll compile it and get it back out before the May meeting. Sound good to everybody?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okie doke.
Thank you.
So, Helen, thank you very much for all of that. You saved me that day we talked, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you. She was invaluable.
My pleasure.
Thanks. So Patrick, I guess next discussion is going to be the building issues.
Yes. So we met with the MLC directors, the director of the St. Louis County Library, St. Louis Public Library, and St. Charles City County Library District, I think back on the 19th. And we've been emailing back and forth since. St. Louis Public Library, as many of you saw, has already opened. The county and our library and I think Webster Groves, Kirkwood are all planning on going on the date in the packet. Should the board have no objection to us opening on Tuesday, the 23rd, as we did in the earlier period, we'll have the same precautions in place. We think that we'd require everyone to wear a mask. The county's indicated that they'll be keeping the mask mandate in force through at least most of 2021. And we'll, that's certainly subject to change, I'm sure, if everyone is suddenly vaccinated. We'll have limits on the number of patrons allowed in the building at one time, limits on the time people can spend on the computers, a limited number of computers. We'll shut down the computers hourly for cleaning. The one change that we're going to have, Kathleen's come up with a really good sort of pod system for the staff. We work in 2 different groups. So we're going to have one group on the 2nd floor, the other group on the 1st floor, and they'll switch. There'll be a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday group and a Monday, Wednesday, Friday group. We'll alternate Sundays with, different percentages of the staff there on those days.
Patrick, are the hours going to be regular library hours, or are you still having short?
We're going to start, I think, with the same hours we've got now, the 11 to 7, to give us a little bit of time to get set up in the morning and to do, a more thorough cleaning in the evening.
And no Sunday?
We have tentatively planned to we've picked a Sunday. I think Kathleen and I just want to talk a little bit more and firm that up, or are we pretty much ready to go on that, do you think? And I don't mean to put it on Kathleen, because when I asked her last time, she said, I sent you the stuff, it's up to you. So
One more
she's going to do all the planning.
Yeah, I think, that we have a lot to do prior to the reopening, but I think once that hurdle has passed.
Yeah, and we're going to talk to the staff about all this tomorrow, as I said, with direction from the board about this plan.
Could I ask one more question?
Certainly.
I just don't understand how you're managing the limited patrons. Do you have somebody standing at the door with a clicker?
Well, yes. Yeah, okay. It's fancier than that. We have an iPad with a little touch thing on it, and you add and subtract as people come in and out. And we when we would get to 20, we would ask people to just stay outside for a few minutes. And it usually had to do with the number of computers in use, and when the session would end and everyone would get up from the computers and go outside. So it usually wasn't more than a couple of minutes. We don't have any seating in the library. Last time, because we were mostly staying had staff mostly staying on the 1st floor, except for the youth services people, we'd occasionally find people laying down and reading, upstairs somewhere. But we'll have staff working on the collections, tagging the collections, pulling the books from upstairs during the day. So we'll have more of a presence on the 2nd floor. So that, we're hoping that we'll be able to communicate better with patrons about, we really ask that you stay in only an hour. And we anticipate this changing. There were several articles in the papers recently about, the vaccine sort of schedule is accelerating day by day. So hopefully soon we'll be, we'll just keep approaching normal, as we go along, I hope. Let's see. Yeah, so no seating in the library and no meeting rooms currently. And we don't know when that will really change until, vaccines are such that the staff is protected and you know, when we're reducing, we're not gonna be putting patrons at risk by letting them use the meeting rooms. So if the board's okay with that, we're gonna go ahead and talk about that with our staff tomorrow.
Sounds like a good plan.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Kathleen, did I miss any of the highlights on that?
I don't think so. I mean, you had the bullets right there in the
Yeah,
packet.
I was just reading it, so yeah.
It's the main things.
And then the building renovation, we've got the signed contract for the exterior work. Bonds received that. We're just waiting to hear back from them about a timeline. The construction documents, I imagine now will be, you know, available at the April meeting for your approval. And then when they came over to look at our window, the facilities people from the city let us know that they were working on the boiler at Trinity, and they've gotten rid of a couple of dumpsters full of you know, some of the stuff that was being stored there that was no longer usable. So we'll be hopefully able to move in there sometime soon. Kara and Kathleen have been working on tagging with the RFID tag some of the collections. So we've started moving stuff into the high density storage where we continue to move things there. So we've got some empty shelves now that we can move over whenever we get the chance. Move those over to the Trinity location. We sent a query to WashU about available locations in U City for a temporary library. And then I resent an email to one of the locations that we'd liked in the past over in Schnucks Plaza. They had told us they had a letter of intent from somebody back in December. And then I drove by it and they had a new, bigger sign saying for lease. So, you know, I expressed our interest in that again. I think that's it as far as the renovation things go. We're, you know, basically going to just wait to hear from Bond on a lot of that and continue to get things ready to move.
Okay. So there's probably updates that will come through in April.
Yeah, definitely. We should definitely have something in April, if nothing else, the construction documents ready to go out to bid. And, you know, hopefully a timeline on that project too. That's got to be part of that. But then, you know, maybe a timeline on the larger project. And, you know, and as we were talking about in the last meeting, then we'll evaluate when we want to reach out to Stiefel and to Gilmore and Bell and work on the financing. I think Stiefel had said, you know, they need a sort of a 60-day horizon. And it can be, you know, from the date construction documents go out or from the date construction's due to start, however we wanted to do it.
Sounds good.
Have you had real cooperation from Bond?
You know, get the feeling that they're I know, you know, Lori, who had been sort of the project manager for our project, has gone on to another firm. So Sue is you know, taking over as project manager, and she's also the principal. And I know they're working on one or two other things. Often I'll call and leave a message, and you know, hear that she's out on another site. So we'll you know, we're hearing from them. You know, and in their defense, we haven't been bugging them too much until December. So hopefully
if we're looking for something in April, they need to be on it.
Yeah, they had indicated that they would have had it for this meeting if we had gotten that back to them, the contract back to them within 2 weeks. And it was actually between you know, delays hearing from them and then you know, contacting our attorneys and then sending everything back to Bond again. It took 3 weeks to get everything done. So
Okay.
you know, I didn't expect to have it today.
Okay, thank you.
And we did change the scope of work a little, as I think we discussed at the February meeting.
All that's normal.
Yeah.
So the next discussion item is the 2021-2022 budget.
Yes, yeah, okay, I didn't have that in I had that on the agenda, but not here. And then we had the Budget and Finance Committee meeting right before this meeting. I did send.
Do you want to, Patrick, do you want to put that to a committee report?
Sure, yeah.
Do you want to do that? Because we have, do we still have Gerald? Yes, okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna move this discussion item on the budget down to Budget and Finance Committee report. So we can get the report there. So it looks like the only action item that we have is the extension of the FFCRA benefits, unless, Patrick, there's something else that was added on?
No.
Okay.
I would
Did
like
everybody
to
get a chance to read that in the packet?
I propose that we extend the benefits for another month.
Second.
Okay, we're gonna do a roll call vote on this. Patrick, this extends this to, what was the calendar date, like April?
April 31st.
Okay,
I'm going to start with a roll call vote. Joan Greco-Cohen.
yes, extend it.
Okay. Dorothy Davis.
Yes.
Gerald Lander.
Yes.
Edmund Acosta.
Yes.
Helen Nelling.
Yes.
Cindy Zerwis.
Yes.
And Aaron Ginsberg, yes.
Thank you. I actually was thinking, like, do we even need this? Will we have anything more? And I think Kathleen pointed out over the course of our discussions that, now we've got, and Cindy also, that, we've got staff who are traveling to Columbia or Joplin to get their vaccine. So we're going to allow them to use COVID time for that.
Okay.
Also, just a technicality, it's April 30th.
Oh, well, then
Okay,
let's do that date then.
let's go with the 30th. Anybody want to change their vote by one day? I think not. Okay, Cindy at the library, do you have what you need for that then?
Yes.
Okay. President's report. This is just a little bit of a heads up to get everybody kind of thinking. The officers, the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary will roll off their current positions with a May meeting. So coming May, what I want is for people to think about what role they want to volunteer for, because those officers will have to be replaced. We can only do this for 2 consecutive years. We make the decision at the May meeting, and then the new president and secretary and treasurer and vice president take over with June's meeting. So that's why I wanted to give everybody a little bit of a heads up to consider what position and role they want to play moving into June. I know that seems kind of far out, but they roll through fairly quickly. And in April, we're going to have other things to discuss, and we need to make the decision by the May meeting. So the other thing is,
Joan, who's been in those positions twice? That will
one more time.
I just want to know, you said that you could be in those positions 2 terms. And I wanted to know which of the people on those terms will not be able to continue.
I won't. I think Aaron, have you served 2 years?
I think I believe that last year we just pretty much the entire slate was people who had served the year before. Is that not true?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
So we all rolled forward at last year's meeting. So I definitely have served 2 years as president. Dorothy has served 2 years as vice president, but we have another issue where Dorothy is concerned, because unfortunately, we lose Dorothy on our board in June. So, yeah, it's very sad. She's been an immense help to me. But and so Aaron has served too, and Gerald, that will mean you probably have served too as well as treasurer.
Okay.
So that just means that, you know, Gerald, you can move up to president, or Aaron, you can move it, as long as you're not serving in the same role. I just want everybody to kind of start thinking about what they're going to volunteer for the new term, which actually for us starts in June. Just something to keep in mind. The other thing that we're going to take a look at, and Patrick and I have had a couple conversations about this, is our committees normally have one chair and then 3 board members that serve on it. Somehow, because we've lost a couple board members and we gained a couple board members, those committees ended up, some committees only have 3 people, some committees have 5 people. We're going to try and bring that back down to 1 chair and 3 board members. So consider if you want to do a chair, serve as a chair on any of our committees: long-range planning, personal and policy, budget and finance, and building and grounds. Now, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong here. Edmund's the chair of long-range planning. If he chooses to, he can stay the chair, right?
Yeah, there's no prohibition on terms on committees.
Okay, so the only issue would be whoever serves as president, if they're currently the chair, they can't serve as the chair. Is that correct?
I'm sorry?
So whoever turns out to be president can't serve as the chair on a committee.
That's correct. That's correct. And
Okay.
the president is ex officio member of each and every committee.
Okay. So just, this is something to keep in mind, because we didn't prepare well for the last rollover, or the 2 years ago for the rollover to people, and it was, so I just wanted to give everybody a heads up to start thinking about what role you want to play. I have no doubt that any of us who are either president, me speaking for myself, or vice president, or treasurer, or secretary, would be happy to speak to any board member who wants to serve in any of those roles, and let you guys know what we do and how we do it and what's involved in it, so that you can make a decision on whether or not to serve in any of those roles. So that will roll through in May's meeting, so that those new officers will become the officers in the June meeting. And I think that is it for what I have. If anybody has any questions, we can talk about it now, or you can just reach out to me or Aaron or Gerald or Dorothy, you know, if you have any questions about the roles that each of us have served. So if there's no questions now, then we'll just move on to the committee reports.
Well, we at the Finance Committee, and thank everybody, the members of that committee, for having 2 meetings in one day. We met earlier today, and I'm not sure whether everybody got a copy of the budget, but that's what we spent most of the time on, going over Patrick's extensive budget, which looks very similar to this year's budget. Both income and the expenses are almost exactly the same. A few things up and down, but very, very minor. We obviously have money in the bank because we collected money and we haven't spent as much money as we thought we might be spending, because we're not building and renovating, as we said. We went over a bit of the fund balances. One thing that came up, that a lot of money we do get is in I guess a cash or bond, a fund, a specific fund. And Edmund brought up the fact that we apparently used to have a maintenance fund, just a fund balance in that fund that we wanted to keep, of about, I think he said it was either $300,000 or $500,000. And the idea was that we're going to have a lot more in that fund which will come in and go out as tax money comes in, and we spend money on the building projects, but we still felt like we wanted to still maintain that sort of emergency balance. I think we were all pretty much agreed that we still wanted to do that. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how it goes. Patrick sends me the invoices. I no longer go in person to see them, and they all are fine. The only other thing that I had brought up was that some libraries that are big, larger libraries often have a finance assistant, so to speak. And we just queried Patrick about whether he thought we needed one. He does get some help from the city, but I think he said he felt very comfortable doing this, and that training other members of the library staff have taken over and have assumed a lot of responsibilities, and given Patrick maybe a feeling that somebody doesn't have to oversee everything, so that he can spend enough time looking at the finances, and didn't feel like that was a priority at this time. I think unless other members, Edmund, you might know, as we talked about that I'm leaving out, it'd be fine, but we look like we were really healthy right now from a finance standpoint, a building standpoint, not from a COVID standpoint.
I'm sorry, Gerald, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay, so that's all I have to report.
Anybody have any questions on the budget and finance meeting that we had earlier today? Okay, so Edmund, you're the chair on long range planning, right? You guys did
Right.
not. Okay, so we're holding off on your meeting. You guys haven't had a meeting, right?
That's correct. We have not had a meeting. However, I attended the Budget and Finance Committee meeting, and we managed to cover, thank you, Gerald, cover a whole bunch of ground in half an hour. That was remarkable. And two things came up that were relevant for strat planning. First thing, as Gerald mentioned, having some sort of a reserve. So that will be a topic for discussion in probably the strat plan. And also another, it's a continuation or a succession plan to if all of a sudden we lose the services of a particular person, especially critical personnel, who is next in line to be able to cover all those duties and accomplishments. So that's going to be brought up and at least evaluated in the succession plan. So that's it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned Kathleen and I have been talking about that. We'll have that ready for April.
Okay. Good news. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a really good discussion, because I hadn't really given that any thought prior to that being brought up in that meeting, that, you know, in the environment in which we find ourselves, if somebody in any of those key roles becomes ill and is out for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, you know, I thought that was a really good thing. I hadn't even given that any thought. So I think that's a great idea, to have a fallback plan for Patrick and Kathleen and Cindy. I mean, you know, there's key people that have to keep that library running.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Helen, you guys haven't had a personnel and policy yet. Have you guys picked a meeting date, or what do we need to do on that?
No, we have not, but there are 2 personnel and policy things that we're taking care of today. One being Patrick's review, the other being the extension of the benefit. So Patrick and I will discuss if there are other issues that come up and we need to have a committee meeting.
Yeah, I can certainly bring the succession plan to personnel and policy first. I hadn't thought about that. Sorry about that, Helen.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. We're gonna wanna do that as
Good
well.
idea.
So that leaves us with building and grounds, and Aaron, you're up.
We have not had another meeting since our meeting 1 month ago. And sorry, we did not get the documents still to the lawyers quicker so that bond respond faster, but
it is what it is.
We're still turning straw into gold.
Yeah.
It's a little slower than usual, so.
No, we did have the, from Building and Grounds News, Kathleen, as I said, I've been home all day, and Kathleen was able to report that the other side doors started failing today, so.
Makes you want to bang your head against it.
In the nick of time.
I'm so happy that the doors are going to be completely fixed and redone. I'm so glad that is the first thing that is on our building and grounds agenda. So
beautiful.
So is there any old business we need to discuss? Any other questions or any new business that we need to go over before we go ahead and adjourn for the night?
Yes, I would like to say two things. First of all, I would like Patrick to thank the staff for all the hard work doing the curbside delivery. While it wasn't so bad yesterday when it was, 70 degrees, it hasn't been like that since we had to start doing curbside. And they have just been great, coming in, coming out, slogging through slush. Please thank them for us.
We will. We'll do that tomorrow.
Okay. And then
before you continue, Helen, I'd second your thing. I had two great experiences with that as well. And they've been very efficient and pleasant, and it's worked really well. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you didn't. And then I would just like to thank you all for your kindness and your caring about me. And it's very much appreciated. And I think of you as my friends. And I will be so glad when I can see you in person. And thank you then. Thank you.
You get a virtual hug from all of us.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And of course, as everybody said the last time, if you need anything, you know how to find us. You just text or call or whatever, and we'll help.
Knowing you're there is very important.
We're here. Unfortunately, it's remote, but we're here. Okay. Anybody have anything else before we go ahead and adjourn? No, we're good? Okay. Thank you all. I appreciate everyone's help, Helen. I appreciate all of your help with doing the review paperwork and everything else for me. So I guess we will chat again in a month. If you all need me, you know where to find me. Send me an email or call or whatever. Edmund, you know where I live. You can come by. Just knock on the door, whatever you need to do. Do we need to, I forget this every single time. Do we need a roll call to adjourn?
No, just an emotion. I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor, let's do it.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Missing you
See
all.
you all in April.
Helen? Oh, Helen's gone. Okay, I'll email her.
Helen rolled off.
Take care.
Cheers all.
Bye, everybody.
Aaron.